Here's some things you need to look out for if you're a real estate investor here in Lubbock, Texas. The first thing that's different about Lubbock from other markets is how we pull comps. So in most markets, you can just drop a pin on the property, do a 1 mile search radius, and you can find comps from anywhere within a mile. But in Lubbock, comps are found neighborhood by neighborhood, which funny enough, each neighborhood in Lubbock is roughly 1 mile this way by 1 mile that way, 1 square mile. If you're on the eastern part of a neighborhood, you don't pull comps from the next neighborhood over. You pull comps just from that neighborhood all the way this way, north and south. We're on a grid system, so it's pretty easy to tell what defines a neighborhood. Next thing, you are looking at the 1% rule. In other markets, you might not be able to achieve the 1% rent to cost ratio, meaning 1 month's rent divided by the total cost, your purchase and renovations on a property. But in Lubbock, it's fairly easy to find a deal that will rent for at least 1% or more of your total cost of the property. Now here in Lubbock, there is a good and a bad when it comes to lending and property management. Those are two aspects that are going to be involved in just about every transaction. Lending on most transactions, property management on anything that's going to be a rental. So the great thing about Lubbock, we have some really good local options for private lenders and hard money lenders that work with different investors across town. Some of their programs compared to other areas of the country are so much better, so much more investor friendly as lenders than lenders in other parts of the country. So that is the big plus about Lubbock. Now, the downside is property management. I don't want to ruffle too many feathers, but let's just say if you're planning on buying remotely, you better have a really good plan for property management. This isn't the type of city where you can just call a company up out of a Google search and they'll do a great job managing your rental. Odds are most of the people that you're going to call are not going to take care of your property. Your investment is probably going to underperform. So having a plan and knowing that ahead of time for property management is going to be really key if you're investing in Lubbock. And the last thing, it gets cold in Lubbock, and that means that the homeless population looks for a free place to stay that's warm in the winter. So just knowing where the homeless population is, where the foot traffic is, and really monitoring your properties and making sure that if something is vacant and you haven't touched it for a while, you board it up. You don't just have a set of keys hanging from the front door. You monitor access and all that thing. That way you can protect your investment and make sure that vagrants and homeless people don't get into your property. It's just the reality of where we invest. But if you're mindful of it, you can do things in preparation to prevent it as much as possible.